This is Gary Butterfield.
This is Cole Ross.
And this is Monster, my podcast.
And this is The Mist Lynx.
There's a monster in my podcast.
This good boy.
He's got a real weird... I think this is a very inspired choice to give him weird proportions on his arms.
Uh-huh.
Because it doesn't need it.
No, it is totally an ancillary detail.
But it makes it look really alien. Like, you get something like kind of long limbs, and it makes it extra spooky.
Yeah, well, it's worked into the fiction, too. Like, if you see one of these things at night, it looks like a hunched-over dude.
Well, I think that's more of a problem with Shadow Talk, where they're constantly seeing people walking around on their tiptoes and fingers. like the same thing we run into with Gabriel Hound and a bunch of that stuff, where it's like I don't actually see people walking around on all fours all that often enough to be like, oh, that's just normal.
Well, you don't see him walking that way. You see him clambering that way.
I don't see people. How often? When's the last time you saw somebody clamber?
I don't know.
It doesn't happen that often, you know?
Yeah. Up a net at the Eliminator.
I guess that's true.
Yeah, in American Gladiators, yeah.
Or in a carnival when you have to do that net clamber thing, that rope ladder clamber.
Yeah. So I was nearly, this is going way back and has nothing to do with this, but just the different modes of transportation. When you were going to kindergarten or preschool or whatever, and they were trying to assess, like, hey, is this kid ready? Like, what class should he go in? Did they make you do like a mobility test? Like, okay, we need to make sure that you can walk, that you can run, stuff like that, just to see like your motor skills.
No.
Okay. I don't know how common this is. Definitely had to do one of those. So I was like, okay, we need you to just walk over there and walk back. Okay. Run over there, walk back, or run back. Okay. Skip over there, skip back. Gallop over there. And to this day, as a 30-year-old man, I have no idea how a human can gallop.
I gallop all the time, dude.
What?
Like, no joke. Like, I galloped the other day in the backyard. I think it's kind of fun.
How does somebody gallop?
Yeah, I could not begin to describe it, actually. Yeah. But I have an innate muscle memory of galloping down to the store, galloping up some milk, and then galloping my groceries home, you know?
Yeah. My confusion, even back then, of like, what the fuck are you asking me to do, Mrs. Sheldon? Like that almost got me put in like special classes because like because little Cole not only can't gallop but finds the idea of a human galloping so galling.
It's like running with only one leg, like front run, like running. I'm gonna do it now that I know this. Like next time I see you, I'm gonna gallop circles around you. Punk. Like I'm gonna gallop like a motherfucker just because.
Okay, well, just because you have a lifetime of practice, and I'm sitting here.
Yeah. You're like, I got functioning kidneys, and I'm like, oh fuck. It's a good place to end on, but this thing turns into mist. Like,
yeah, we really can't. Yeah, I definitely took us I took us off track before we got to the cool part. So this is like a little ocelot. Well, like it's a lynx. So it's a lynx. It's got the stubby tail and the tufted ears, but he has the ability to take mist form, like Dracula.
Yeah, and like seep under the door or what have you. And that always seems like the fact that it makes it unstoppable. Is always like a tertiary concern with things that can turn to mist with me. Yeah. The main thing is accidentally breathing them.
It materializes inside of your lungs.
Yeah, like in the Scratchtasia and The Simpsons, where like he breathes in, Scratchy or Mickey or Itchy. I can never. Which one's Itchy? And he turns into the little guys like chopping up his lungs with axes.
Right.
Just think of that, like just this like breathing in this, and then all of a sudden you have like a cat elbow in your lung.
No, I can't afford to have Lynx lung again.
I don't need a solid in my lung at all.
No.
Like, especially like a furry solid.
No.
Like I listened to a podcast about drowning that was one of the most like panic-inducing like things I've ever listened to. Like, okay. It is the idea of things being inside your lungs is extremely scary, and having a lung collapse is one of those like fears I have.
Okay.
Like I don't need anything in there other than air. Yeah, and maybe some Fresca, but no.
Just like a little bit of accidental Fresca.
Yeah,
just so your lungs don't get bored.
Yeah, so they can party. Got the Fresca.
Brought to you by our backers at patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv.